Welcome to Discovery Weekly, a show that is all about discovery. If we discovered it this week, we want to talk about it. I'm Zach, and I have with me special guest host for the month, Mr. Matt Walker. Thanks for coming on, Matt.
Good to see you.
So I mentioned this a little bit ahead of time to you so that you were aware of the type of conversation that we're about to have. This is one of the most... I don't even know. It's a very heated argument, typically across all demographics. And the question is a hot dog a sandwich?
Okay. And before you share the thing, I just have to say that this conversation ate up a lot of my college time. It really did. We would go and eat together. And I have to tell you, we played this game. And I'm sorry for everybody listening and you, Zach, but it was called the sandwich punching game. And you'll see why I'm sorry in a bit. But the sandwich punch game, which meant if you had a sandwich and you took a bite out of said sandwich and put it back down on your plate, that sandwich was liable to be punched.
without covering it? Was that part of your rules? Could you cover it to save it? Yes.
If you put a French fry on top or anything, it could not be punched. And if it was punched and something was on top of it, then you would have to get another sandwich for the person. Okay? So you can imagine that this ate up a lot of our time because we ate hot dogs as well. And I think there were some punched hot dogs in the mix.
So that's the start of this conversation. Is somebody punched a hot dog? It's not even a sandwich, man. How could you?
Well,
or is it?
Hold on. Yeah. And I will say the final rule of the sandwich punch game is now that you know the rules, you're playing.
Sorry, everyone who's listening. You better cover your sandwich next time because someone out there might also know the game and will punch your sandwich into oblivion. This was also a game that we played in college, and I saw many sandwiches like full destroyed because people really commit. They will demolish them.
Wait, you played this game too?
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely did. And it was that you get really good at remembering to cover your sandwich after people obliterate it because they would punch it as hard as they can and it explodes. There's nothing left.
I don't set my sandwiches down. It's kind of embarrassing. I eat them in one sitting.
You're still programmed?
Yeah.
Why? Just so Carlin doesn't punch your sandwich?
It's just so ingrained in me.
So yeah, where did you end up landing on? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Okay, so this is what we said. A sandwich is defined as one thing in between two of the same thing, and it can't be connected. And we only said that because a taco is essentially a hot dog, right?
Right. Yeah.
That is the dumbest thing I think I've ever said.
It kind of is though.
A taco's a hot dog, and we all know that.
It's about to get much dumber with what I'm going to reveal to you in just a second.
But as soon as that hot dog bread rips, that's a sandwich. That's a sandwich.
So, as you can tell, these things are very, very controversial. And so there is a site dedicated to what is known as the cube rule, which is a new way to identify foods based on starch location. So Matt told us his version of this, where it's he broke down the rules of why a hot dog is not a sandwich. And I'm kind of, before I heard about the cube rule, I was kind of in the group of, okay, fine. If a hot dog is a sandwich just because it's bread, then a taco is a sandwich. A quesadilla is a sandwich. Like, let's go. There's bread everywhere. It's all sandwiches. But this one takes that to the next level because people started thinking the same way. Where like, okay, how are we defining these things? And there's I'll throw in the show notes. There's a link to kind of purist versus rebel and how all these things would play out. Because like a hardline traditionalist, a BLT is a sandwich. Everybody can get behind that. A BLT is a sandwich. A structural purist means that it's kind of like what you're talking about, where there's bread on both sides of a thing and it's holding it. A structural purist but ingredient rebel There's like an ice cream between two waffles is a sandwich. But then you start getting to like in your definition, like if you go to Subway, that's not a sandwich. They're connected.
Exactly. So
it gets tricky.
Our way around that is if sandwich can be put in the name, then it's a sandwich. If it cannot be put in the name,
it's okay. So then ice cream sandwich is done for. You better eat that thing in one bite.
Subway sandwich done for. Yeah.
But okay, so on the rebel side of this, a structure rebel that is also a ingredient rebel would think that a Pop-Tart is a sandwich because it's got stuff everywhere.
This is gonna get me heated, man.
Oh yeah, get ready. This is it's about to blow your mind. So basically, someone just tweeted you should use the cube rule. And so how this works is based on where the starch is, that defines it. So I'll just read these to you. Number 1 is toast, and that means that there's bread on the bottom, just on the bottom. So like open face sandwiches. I'll give you some of their examples because that's where it gets bonkers. Sandwich, top and bottom is where the starch is. Taco, 3 sides. Sushi, all the way around. One of the categories is soup/salad with a bread bowl. So it's like all the cube like planes except for the top one. And then a calzone is bread all around. So that seems simple-ish, right? But they go to popular examples of toast: pizza, nigiri sushi, and pumpkin pie slice. Because all that it takes is there's bread on the bottom, but not on the top, or some kind of a starch. Then sandwich, popular examples, quesadilla. And they have toast on here, but it's literally a toast sandwich. It's just 3 pieces of bread. So, Victoria sponge cake. Then you have tacos, which is 3 sides, and that's a hot dog.
Okay.
Sub sandwich or a slice of pie, which they have in parentheses, taco on its side. Sushi, popular examples of sushi, a falafel wrap, pigs in a blanket, or enchiladas. Then they have 5 is quiche. And that's soup in a bread bowl, falafel pita, or cheesecakes, because there's starch all around except for on the top. And then bonus round, deep dish pizza, key lime pie, and salad in a bread bowl. Calzones, we have burritos, we have corn dogs, and we have whole pies. So as long as you don't cut it, it's a calzone. And bonuses on the calzones is dumplings, Pop-Tarts, and Uncrustables. And I feel like this is the full chaos version of this conversation. They also consider salad is 0 starches. So things that are popular examples of salads: steak, mashed potatoes, and spaghetti. Or also chocolate or a soup, which they call a wet salad. And then they basically say rice, you can do whatever you want. Vanilla soy latte is a 3-bean wet salad. So it's just there is a new contender to this conversation where no rules matter. Well, maybe just the cube rule matters. But other than that, everything that anybody has argued about does not work if you believe in the cube rule.
Wow. Yeah. Someone really thought this through.
Someone thought it through in a really special way. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with everyone. So now, I mean, really, it could kind of blow up the sandwich game, because what is a sandwich according to this? It's definitely not a sub. It's like watch your quesadillas and your traditional sandwiches.
Wow. Well, here's the thing. And then they go on number 7 is cake, which is just a 3-tiered sandwich.
Yeah, it's a club sandwich. And there's also a Big Mac is one of the examples. And then lasagna and flapjacks, which flapjack is, I guess that's kind of like a cake. It's pancakes.
I guess if you put something in between.
That's what I'm saying is, like, I feel like all of these arguments, there was always like a logic and a rule that this is why it is or it isn't a sandwich. And this one is like everything that you've ever been told is a lie. Believe that this Pop-Tart is a calzone.
Well, it's definitely like this gets rid of house rules, you know?
Oh,
there's no more house rules for sandwich punching game. which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
There always was house rules.
Yeah, I don't want my sandwich to get wrecked for a reason I had no idea I was. So this is good. This is good if you ever get in a sandwich debate, and I would say only if you're in a sandwich debate that revolves around some sort of game where you lose a sandwich.
Yeah.
Then maybe go to cube rule and just use this as a basis.
Just blow up any logic that they could possibly have by citing random people on Twitter who have come up with the weirdest starch-based identification rules ever.
It's great, and I love at the top how it's the cube rule of food identification as seen in the Webby Awards, the Washington Post, and Maryland courts.
Which I don't know what Maryland courts is. Like, what is that referencing? That's the one that I saw. I was like, what?
Yeah, maybe they got some sort of judge to rule on this.
Yeah, I will say that essentially they have, and I'm guessing this is real, but they do have the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance did weigh in on this, saying that sandwiches are generally subject to sales tax. This bulletin explains what is considered a sandwich for sales tax purposes, and they do have hot dogs.
Wow.
But they also probably have hot dogs because it costs like a ludicrous amount of money to have a hot dog stand on certain corners in New York. So that's probably kind of it's a tax thing, I'm assuming. They're like, we're gonna throw it in there. We're gonna go ahead and let this this be a sandwich.
I also like how at the bottom you can actually contact the person who made it, just in case you have any any
further follow up you want to bring their way. No, this to me, this looks like it wasn't even. Yeah, no, it wasn't created by the people who started saying anything about the cube rule. Somebody just broke this down and made a ludicrously ridiculous. It's a fun website to go through. It's going to be linked in the show notes. You can definitely check it out. But yeah, if you want to fully disrupt any conversation about whether a hot dog is a sandwich, just bring this up and it's done.
And now you have your party
You've just ruined the party for everyone.
Come back.
You have just ruined your Zoom meeting. Your daily whiteboard at work. Just bring this up and everybody's going to talk about it.
That's so good. That's great. I love that. I love that that's broken down. I thought I was the only person to know the pain of losing a sandwich that you painstakingly made.
You said the sandwich game. I was like, it can't be that. It can't be that game. It cannot be that game because the real time that everybody really liked to do it was if you were out, so like if we ever went to like a fast food place, that's when they would look for it. Cause people would a lot of times they do like napkins or whatever. But I did see one time, like the wind blew the napkin off and within a second, that sandwich was obliterated, like immediately. It is a fun game, but you really have to make sure that you leave something on it or you're going to get a lot of sandwiches ruined.
And try to play with people that you know.
Yeah, no, strangers, they might not like this as much.
Yeah, it's dangerous, to be quite honest.
Don't assume people know about this game.
I can recall one moment where there was nothing on a sandwich. He realized it like through a fry. So as he punched the fry into the sandwich, and then he had to get him a sandwich. It was like, oh man,
that's like the top 10. The Sports Center top 10 play is him getting that fry down before he gets destroyed.
Ooh, it was intense. It was an intense game. Well, do you want me to bring up the little bit of science news that I found?
Absolutely.
Sure. Well, in science news, that's actually what it's sciencenews.org.
It's really in science news.
It truly is. Europe's oldest known humans mated with Neanderthals, and it says also surprisingly often.
I want to know.
They're making a judgment call there.
Yeah, what's the distinction between like surprise? What was the surprise? Were you thinking it was less?
Yeah, yeah. And was it that Neanderthals were doing that, or were the ones that were doing that were doing it surprisingly often?
I didn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I'll skip to some of the tidbits here, but they found remains of 3 Homo sapien individuals unearthed in Bulgaria's Bacho Kiro cave. I know I'm not saying any of these things right. And nuclear DNA containing Neanderthal contributions of about 3 to 4% were found there. And they were discovered by a team led by evolutionary geneticist Mateja Hajdenyak of the Francis Crick Institute in London. And I'm not going to apologize for how I said that, because I said that correctly. Just kidding. I didn't. There's no way. I think it's probably Bulgarian. But the ancient DNA came from a tooth and 2 bone fragments radiocarbon dated to between around 43,000 and 46,000 years ago. And stone tools typical of late Stone Age humans were found in the same sediment. Pretty crazy, right?
I did not, I don't know. It could just be because I'm stupid, but I didn't realize that they were that closely like lined up. I didn't realize that they were able to interact at that level, that often.
Yeah. And I guess this was right on the cusp, in between. Oh boy! Well, I wish I knew more about that.
That's what I'm saying. Is I don't know. I feel really out of my depth right now. I can BS my way through a lot of conversations, but this one I'm like, I didn't got nothing.
Here you go. Neanderthals went extinct around 40,000 years ago.
Oh, okay. So that was near the end of the Neanderthals.
Yeah. So it was there. I mean, that's definitely later than they thought they existed, according to that 45,000. Or 43 is what it said. But that's pretty crazy. Yes. And according to geneticist, Carle Lalueza Fox of the Institute of Evolutionary Biology in Barcelona, it is remarkable that the Bacho Kiro finds could represent a population that was spreading 45,000 years ago, at least from Bulgaria to China. So I guess that's a huge, like, they didn't know that was happening in that region. Well, I mean, in any region, because that's where they were. Listen, it's super cool. I am not 100% sure of the implications. But it was just saying that, or it's just pretty crazy to think that the evolution of all that stuff kind of happened in such close proximity to one another. And it's saying that it also helped kill off the Neanderthal population because it diluted the DNA of the gene pool. And then I was born, And
then we're here. Hey, we're here now. Yeah, no, that's crazy. So I also have a science discovery, although it's different than that. I have I found out about a Arctic walrus that is currently in Ireland hitching rides on random boats. So this has been documented on several people's social media and apparently it's kind of like become a thing now, and they're having to tell people to leave the walrus alone. So in general, the walrus should not be where he is. They think that essentially he fell asleep. They think that he fell asleep on an iceberg and he floated down to Ireland. And so people saw a walrus and they're like, that's not normal. And so they were just immediately shocked and thrilled to see what was going to happen with this walrus. But he is literally thousands of miles from where he should be, because they usually are in the Arctic and he is not. And so the only guess, one marine biologist speculated that he fell asleep on an iceberg. So he floated down to Ireland And then they saw him on a beach, and people were like, what is that thing? And so they start talking about it. But now he keeps showing up in other places. So he traveled another 280 miles to, I'm really bad at like Welsh names. I'll say this right now. I'm sorry. At Pembrokeshire, maybe, not maybe. I don't know. But everybody who is calling they're calling him Wally now, which that's it's kind of, it's weak. He's a walrus, like I get it, it's Wally, but Wally is kind of good. But Wally is now being seen in several different places, and he's been causing problems because he'll see a ship, and he's like, "Well, I got to get back out of here." So he's just hitchhiking everywhere he can. And so there was somebody who was trying to like drive a dinghy, and he ended up capsizing it because he just like sees the dinghy and like climbs up there, and walrus are gigantic, and so he literally sinks the boat. And everyone is kind of losing their mind watching this, and they're so excited that people are like taking boats and going and trying to find Wally so they can like take pictures of him and see him. And so they actually, it's one of the Welsh Marine Rescue has put out, and it's a bunch of different marine research and a bunch of people that are concerned for Wally and not as concerned about how much people want to see him. They said, we understand it's exciting and unusual to have the walrus take up a temporary residence in Tenby, and that over the bank holiday weekend, many people may wish to visit the area in hope of catching a glimpse of him. However, it's in his best interest to be left alone as much as possible. So we're asking people to remember that he is a wild animal and avoid temptation to get near him and disturb him. Because apparently, yeah, people are literally just taking paddle boards, surfboards, whatever they can to go try and hang out with Wally. But yeah, I just read this story about this walrus that is all over the place, and it's funny.
That's incredible. I actually had heard about that, but I didn't know that he was popping up all over, because I had seen posted that he probably fell asleep on a ice sheet, and then he was like, I'm in Ireland.
He's like, where am I right now? How long was I asleep?
What a testament to a nice nap.
Yeah, what a testament to the relaxation levels of a walrus. Like, how does he just sleep for 1,000 miles?
My God, what a lovely time. And now you're in Ireland and you can hang out and sink boats and stuff. I love it. That's incredible. God, man. So the other thing that I discovered, or that I would like to share, is this wonderful Yelper. He lives in Brooksville, Florida, and he goes by John B. And I have known about him a little bit. He has a great review of Three Birds Tavern in St. Pete.
Really?
Check it out. Yeah, it's a great one. We meet his wife, who he calls the Fab One, FAB one.
Number one.
Yes. Oh my God. He mentions her in this one. Okay. So I just want to read his, and this is rare. He gave a 1-star review of Beef O'Brady's in Brooksville. And he even, let me just read this, and I'm going to read it as I can only imagine John B. Writes these reviews. This is a sad review to have to write. So much has changed since my glowing review of May 2018. We haven't visited any beefs lately, mainly because we've been seeing a downward trend in service and food taste/quality. The last time we ate at a Beef's was at this location. I ordered wings. Yeah, what Beef's used to be famous for. I'll just say the wings were not good. They were edible, but the flavor was off. They just didn't have the wing pizzazz. And they were overly greasy. Parentheses. Please don't say I should have mentioned it to the staff. I shouldn't have been served food like this, nor should Beef's quality be that low. So, This past Sunday evening, we thought we'd drop in and give them a try. I was going to order a once favorite of mine, their chef salad. And my fab one was probably going to get a hamburger, parentheses, which she used to love. As soon as we walked in, it was like walking into a morgue. The feeling was real somber. Everything looked drab. And there were what might as well have been lifeless bodies sitting 2 by 2 at the bar. And at just a few tables. It was pretty depressing. We opted to sit at a high top, right near the front doors, since there was nowhere to sit at the bar due to social distancing, I guess. After too long a wait, a server finally came over, plopped down a couple of menus, and attempted to take our drink orders. Parentheses. We were close to getting up and leaving when she made her way over. I ordered simple, unsweet tea with lemon. Okay. My fab one ordered her usual adult beverage, a glass of Pinot Grigio. The server's eyes... Pinot Grigio at Beefs. The server's eyes widened, and she did that I've got to pee dance, showing she was quite uncomfortable. She asked Fab One to repeat. Still no connection. Fab One then had to spell out PINOTGRIGIO. The server then asked for that one more time, slowly, so that she could write that down. She followed by saying she had no idea and would have to check. What? No one's ever ordered a Pinot Grigio at Beefs.
Do they have wine at Beefs? I have no clue.
I wonder what they have to say about the wine. Oh boy. As she walked away, I turned to look at my partner with that "you've got to be kidding me" look. Fab One had the same look on her face. Jeez. Moments later, the server came back and announced they were out of Pinot Grigio, mispronouncing it as she made her announcement. "We're done here." We thanked her and politely said we have decided to leave. We got up, turned, and walked out the front door. After a brief discussion in the Beef's parking lot, we both eagerly decided to go to Glory Days Grill on Cortez. And that's exactly what we did. We had a marvelous meal and a great time. Plenty of life in that place. In closing, this visit is and will be our very last visit to any Beef O'Brady's. Between the poor service, the dismal food, and the depressing ambience, we have had enough. Parentheses. This really saddens me, as I used to be a regular at the original Beefs in Brandon, when it was the only Beefs in existence. Goodbye, Beefs. Like, that's his review of Beef O'Brady's, my dude.
It's so good. It was a journey. It was a journey of the mind. And I mean, yeah, the key point was that they don't have Pinot Grigio at Beefs, but I never had thought about getting one there, but I would have assumed they didn't have it if I wanted one.
And I wouldn't have gotten mad at the waitress who's like, "No one's ever ordered that before. Is that a beer?" I don't know.
She was asking him to write it down because she had to go ask somebody. She's like, somebody wants this. Like somebody wants Pinot Grigio. And they're kind of freaking out about it out front.
And he's got, and I just wanted to share this. It's definitely worth going through because he's got 116 5-star reviews. And as you can imagine, the 5-star reviews are just absolutely absurd. Like, here's a 3-star review of Long John Silver's. I'm not going to read, but he's got 116 5-star reviews, 49 4-star reviews, 23 stars, 19 2-stars, and 21 1-stars. So he's got so many of these things, and they all read exactly the same, and it's amazing. Oh.
I mean, that's I'm gonna have to go read some of those. That sounds amazing.
Oh my god! I'll just read the first line of this one of an Uncle Kenny's barbecue in Claremont. Like that bad George Thorogood song, this BBBBQ is bad to the bone.
It's like the commitment to what he's doing, I really appreciate.
And when you go through this, you definitely have to look at the pictures that he's posted of himself too. He's either nothing like you'd picture him or exactly like you. Like, what do you think he looks like?
I'm trying to figure out if this is like a 50-year-old, like kind of middle-aged frumpy man. I don't know.
Yes. Wears button downs, short sleeve button downs.
Yes.
Tommy Bahama stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's like
him.
Like a parrot head, just the usual stuff. No, but like honestly, I am a big fan of like his writing. Like it's great, and it's just what he's chosen to write about is ridiculous. And but I love it. I love things that make the world a little bit weirder. Makes it better.
Just that he closed with like, beef sucks. Let's go to Glory Days instead. And we had a marvelous time. Like, come on.
No, that's definitely amazing.
It's so good.
Well, all right. That's all of our discoveries for this week, but we will be back again next week. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Like Magellan, we sail across the ocean of the internet, and we bring back a bountiful harvest of discoveries for all you at home. Thank you, and good night.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network.